Good evening, and welcome to the Relishing Dead podcast, where we devour everything in the TWD universe. I'm Dawn.
I'm Barb.
And I'm Carol.
So tonight we are excited. We get to be joined by another Patreon, Tina Stromberg, and she's going to join us and tell us about her favorite episode tonight. Welcome, Tina.
Let me get her. There we are. Sorry.
Hi, Tina.
Yay, Tina.
Yay, so excited to be here.
Yeah. So tonight, Tina said her favorite episode is season 9, episode 6. Where are you now? So I just wanted to give a little tidbits before we started that I found while I was researching. This is the first episode not to have Andrew Lincoln credited in the main cast bill as Rick Grimes, and the first also not to have Lauren Cohan credited since season 2. So that's a big wow. And the first appearances of the Whisperers.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Well, so Tina doesn't do anything simple. She just came right out of the gate.
Yes.
So this is what we're doing, and we're going to kick ass.
Yeah. Well, there's so much going on in the episode. That's why. A lot of changes, a lot of new things happening. So that's why I like it so much.
Yeah, and it's a big 6-year time jump that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So we got a lot of slides tonight. There was so much happening, and I didn't want to leave anything out. Oh, look at Tina.
Oh, that's great.
So who are those cuties that are behind you?
Those are my great nieces. Stella would be looking at the picture on the left, and Ruby's on the right. And they moved to Wales last year with their parents. So yeah, I miss them a lot. I don't get to see them too much.
Wow. That's quite a trek if you want to go visit them, huh?
Yeah, I haven't been there yet, but it gives me a good excuse to go visit at some point.
Oh, yes.
Exactly. All right, everyone. So, opening scene. Dawn's favorite character in the whole show. Yes. And for some reason, she's just talking to herself, isn't she?
She is.
She's just having this whole ass conversation about Rick and the voiceover and everything, and we kind of get to see several things that are going on, and Michonne's heartbroken. And for anybody who is watching that is a Michonne fan, I apologize ahead of time.
Yeah. But Michonne is over now, so yay.
Yeah. All right. So we also see Daryl, and we learn that Daryl is kind of a loner. They've set it up to where he's kind of off on his own. And we know from the previous episode that, he's just heartbroken from trying to find Rick. So.
And nobody thought he could have a worse hair day until this episode.
And exactly. So we get several walkers in this episode that are kind of cool, but this one is my favorite. This is Aquaman. And it just kind of sets it up to show that Daryl is completely on his own, surviving.
Don't you think it's crazy searching for someone for 6 years?
Yeah.
That's dedication.
Well, it was his brother.
And that's why they have to unite back.
Yeah.
Well, he searched longer for him than he did for Merle.
Yeah.
He gave up on Merle pretty early.
Good point.
He did.
Well, we know who his real brother is, don't we? Oh, that's great.
He went looking for Glenn quicker than he did Merle.
Right. And this quote here, at times we crack only to let the light in. This is going to be poignant for a later conversation.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can we just have an appreciation moment for Kari Payton?
Oh my God.
See, this is one of the perks of being the one who does all the slides and everything, because you guys don't know what I'm going to come up with.
Yeah, she's going to come up with more booze like Dawn.
You got to appreciate a naked Kari Payton. That's all I'm saying.
Well, okay, so since you asked, Tina, who's your favorite character?
So overall, my favorite character is Carol.
Okay.
I think she had such a big change from beginning to end, and so many little tidbits in between, like in tonight's episode.
Okay.
And then on the male side, I'm a Negan fan.
Okay.
Okay.
I absolutely love Negan.
Okay.
His whole character line. So yeah.
So I gotta say, everybody in the comments is saying hello.
Mhm.
I
We've
comments.
got
So
several people on tonight, so they just all wanted to say hi.
hi.
All right. So Michonne is still in her solitude. She finds this camper and she's looking through and she finds this little box. And Barb, I failed you.
Yep.
Because I tried to scroll in to look at the baseball card and I could not find out who the baseball player was.
Joe
I found-
Carver.
No.
Oh
His
no, I'm
last-
kidding. I just took a guy. I was just saying I was just saying any name.
His last name is Paxian, but I couldn't figure out his first name. It starts with a G, and I did searching, and I couldn't find it. So if anybody happens to know who that baseball card is of, let us know, please.
Cool.
And then she finds the 4-leaf clover, the baseball cards, and she finds the little sheriff figurine, which is a reoccurring a theme in this show tonight.
Yes.
And it's also, this episode also has a lot of like a rebirth
Mhm.
kind of theme, from desolation and death, there's
Comes life.
rebirth and hope.
Mhm.
Yep.
And in the beginning of this episode, it sets it up nicely to see that with this particular walker with the birds in the nest.
Yeah, that was crazy. I love that scene.
Yeah. And then Carol finding the flower growing out of the concrete.
Mhm.
And then Michonne ends her opening scene, and we find out that she's at Rick's Bridge.
Yes. I can't believe she found toilet paper after this long.
It was somewhere hidden in the RV.
Speaking of the toilet paper, I want you to remember where that toilet paper is on that horse, and you'll understand why.
Remember where the toilet paper is on the horse. I think I know what you're talking about, Tina.
Toilet paper. Yes.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's one of those things Barb always picks up.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When she's entering the gate.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's
Okay.
totally on the other side of the horse.
Yeah.
Right. So Barb's man. There he is. Look, I do appreciation slides for just about everybody. Come on. I try.
Hey, he still has his shirt on though.
He does. You don't
He only
see
has
him.
a shirt off in one episode, and that's when his arm gets cut off.
Right.
All right, carry on.
So Judith is Tara and Eugene and Ross or Aaron. They all find out what Judith has been up to, rescuing some strangers. And I liked this scene with Eugene taking control
Mm-hmm.
and walking up and running up to the walkers and actually unaliving them, stabbing them. And I like that. I thought that was really good to show that he has grown in character as well. This little scene between Jerry and Carol was just so cute, but it was done to set up the fact that now everybody thinks that Carol is queen.
Yeah.
And to let us know that her and Ezekiel are together.
I'm bummed we missed the wedding.
We didn't get invited to it. I mean, it would have been a perfect opportunity.
He said married to the king.
Married to the king. Yeah. And then we find out that the boiler is deteriorating, that the kingdom is deteriorating.
That's the first time we see adult Henry, too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I have a question about the boiler. What exactly does it do in the kingdom?
I was thinking maybe it sent water for the crops or something. I don't know. That's
Yeah,
what
I
I
was just wondering because I'm like, what is that boiler doing in the kingdom?
Yeah, I don't know if it helps to create electricity in the kingdom or if it supplies water, running toilets. I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea. But I
That's
did
what
like,
I just thought.
yeah, I did like the fact that Ezekiel was like, he checked that Henry so fast. He's like, you're not going to talk to me like that,
Yeah.
you know? And I liked that Henry was really respectful and took care of business. And you can't help but they're just so cute.
They are. They're a couple I could get behind.
I wanted them to last. I did.
But stubborn Carol couldn't keep
I
it
know.
going.
Damn it, Carol. So the group arrives at the gates of Alexandria.
Mm-hmm.
And rewatching this episode, I got to tell you, I was so melancholy for the gates in Sonoy.
Mm-hmm.
Because they showed so much, and I was just like, oh, remember when we spent half of our time trying to peek through the holes and wish that we could get inside? And now that the fence is gone, and now we're like, we want it back!
But we all have our own little piece, so.
Yeah.
Right.
And 2 pieces.
Little pieces. All right, so they go inside, and I love that Judith, out of all of 4 of the other ones, Judith picked Magna to grab her hand and walk her through to let her know that it was okay. And then they're just looking around in amazement. Like, wow, this place is crazy. And there it is. That's what made me melancholy, was looking at all of that. Oh, it used to be there, but it's not there now. I mean, they did a really good job as far as showing the advancement of Alexandria in those 6 years. You know, how they had created this life and these, you know, they were sustaining themselves. So I did like that. And there's your man. So I have a problem with this scene, and I was going to ask you guys. Okay, so we don't know how long they've been gone. I have no idea. They've been on a run. They find Judith. They bring her back with all these strangers. And the very first thing when they come back, Gracie sees her dad, starts running towards him, and he tells her to get back.
Because he doesn't know these strangers and what they can do.
Trust them.
I understand that.
Yeah.
What, Tina?
He's keeping Gracie away from them, but yet they brought them inside the gates.
Right. My problem is that you have Gracie and Judith are 2 little girls in this world, but they are both being raised so differently.
Mm-hmm.
Judith knows how to handle weapons, knows how to handle herself. Obviously, because she's gone out with Aaron and Rosita and Eugene, and she's going on these runs. Gracie is stuck behind the gates, cannot defend herself to save her life.
Judith's the one that was showing her how to use a sword. And then she couldn't even do it when they were in the basement.
Right? Right. Yeah.
My problem with that scene was that Judith was with the group and not her mom if they were going on a run. I mean, I know she needed to talk to Rick, but if she was on a run, why was she not with her mom instead of the group?
I'm just wondering if Michonne was gone longer than just a day.
True.
That's possible. Yeah. But Judith is her parents' child. Gracie is sheltered. You're right, Pam. You are absolutely right. But I just have an issue.
But I agree with Carol. She grew up with Aaron and her surroundings. She should have had a little bit more.
Tell Aaron he better get better with his parenting skills.
I just don't think they wanted to push Gracie on too much. The same thing with RJ. I don't think they wanted to focus on them too much.
Yeah.
They just wanted
RJ's wimpy too.
Yeah. I just don't think they wanted to focus on them.
Hey, Brandon.
I think Aaron too, after losing Eric, I think that kind of made him fearful that he
Yeah.
didn't want to get Gracie into that for fear he would lose her as well.
Yeah.
And Jesus. He's just starting to get to know Jesus.
Oh, that was
Mm.
another relationship I wanted to see happen.
Yeah, that actually happened in the comics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So we see Sadiq and Rosita talking about Yumiko in the back of the wagon. We've got Gabriel shows up, which Gabriel looks so badass. You know, he's just he's a force to reckon with. And then Michonne shows up, and where's that toilet paper?
So it's on the correct side now, but when she gets off the horse, it's on the other
It's
side.
not right. And
Mhm.
her walk when she gets off of that horse, she's just walking. Her chest is all inflated and puffed up,
Mhm.
and she's just pissed off.
Yep.
She's like, "Who the hell are these people?" And this is another scene that bothered me. I'm sorry, but Aaron is such a strong character, and has been from day one,
Mhm.
and he is a total wimp.
He did it in the meeting too. If you see that later, if you have
I
that
know.
later, he does it in the meeting too, and that I'm with you. That pissed me off.
It went all over me that he was like, "Okay, Michonne, whatever you
Yeah.
want." No, hell no.
Mhm.
Mhm.
What
Hmm.
were you saying earlier, Tina, about being opinionated?
Yeah, exactly. Have one, Aaron.
Right. So there's the sheriff, the toy sheriff again. And like I said, he's going to show up throughout. So this may have been the first one that Andrew isn't credited with, but Rick is all over this episode.
Yep.
All right. We go back to the kingdom and we learn that Henry is going to go and apprentice at Hilltop to learn how to be a smith, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Carol and Ezekiel are acting like the total protective parents, and I just think that's super adorable.
Yeah, Ezekiel's little spiel to Henry about the hug for the boy and the handshake for the man that he's become. I'm not a Henry fan, but I really like that little between the two of them.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so here we have the council. They don't look menacing at all.
And here's the thing: you have all these original group members. How the fuck did like Laura get on there and that guy at the end?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
where's Rosita?
Who's the two people on the end? I don't even know who they are.
Well, it's Laura on the left from Negan's
Yeah.
group,
Right.
Yeah,
and the
but
other guy is an Alexandrian. He's been there since day one.
Oh, I thought it was a woman at the end.
On the
Yeah,
right.
All the way to the left is a guy, and then you have Laura. Then you
but all
have
the way to the right, next to Sadiq.
Next to Sadiq.
Yeah. I don't know who she is.
that's Nora.
Is it?
Remember when Michonne had to go talk to Negan when he was in the cell? So she was teaching Judith something or helping her, and she knocks on the door and she goes, "What's up, Nora?" She's like, "Well, Negan's not eating again."
I knew. Nora
Trivia
was the
question,
answer.
Carol.
I
Who
knew
is she?
Nora was the answer.
Nora.
That fucking beautiful
Okay.
brain of yours. God.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we have all these other strong people. What the hell are they doing on the council?
Well, that's what I thought was weird. That Rosita or Eugene.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Eugene's busy making poop charts.
I love it. All right. So then we have the Breakfast Club roll call, basically about them asking him who were you, and they go through and each character, goes through and we got Magna and we got Connie and then we got Kelly and then we got Luke, and they're all telling him what they used to be. And I always think of Breakfast Club every time I see that scene. And then Michonne whips out with the whole tattoo thing, which how did she even see it when Magna was wearing gloves?
Yeah,
she
I don't know
is-
if she saw it either.
Yeah. I think she assumed it.
I think it's something in her past, maybe. I don't know.
How did she know?
For
Something
Michelle Owen, I get it, but like you said, how did she see it? Because there's no way she saw it.
Right, right. And then the knife in the belt buckle. That one I could see Michonne knowing. I could see that. And then Michonne says, I second the motion. And Magna yells back, can I ask you a question? And Michonne's like, no.
I want to know what her question would have been.
I do.
And that scene bothers me because if you guys go back, I mean, I'm sure it's not, but as they're asking the group and they're like focusing on the front of like Kelly and Yumika and all them, in the back corner, seated in the back, it looks like okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't catch it until this last time around, and I was wondering who that was.
Yeah, it looks like, well, I'm sure it's not, but it looks like okay.
Yeah. All right. So this was a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good old Gaby getting down. Gaby getting down with a little Rosita action. I love it. So he's trying to figure out how to get the transmitter, how to get the radio to work. Rosita grabs the map and she decides that her and Eugene are going to hit the road and they're going to go find higher ground to get the signal out. And then she starts sucking face on Gabriel.
Which this is a surprise to me after Michonne being upset that they brought people in to go try to contact more people.
Right. Yeah. I didn't get that.
Yeah.
But, you know, Gabe had said that he thought that they were good people. You know, he has a later conversation saying that he thought that Michonne was wrong. So I can see that. All right. And then we get to Judith, and Judith she's hearing talking, and Michonne is going cray cray and talking to herself. And then
Talking to Rick.
yeah, talking to Rick. And then Henry and Carol are on their way to Hilltop. And you just know something's going to happen because of this scene where they're riding the wagon through this deserted area, and Henry hears a scream. So, do you guys think that it was smart for Henry to jump off of the wagon, or no?
It was.
Hell no.
Hell no. Yeah, and it just kind of showed his immaturity, you know, of the situation.
Yep.
And then here we are. They're stuck in an alley and they're overrun.
Jed.
Yeah. And you know, we should have known that it was foreshadowing with that damn match in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Should have known. And then here we go. Now shit's getting real. So this is when I start to get all tensed up and anxious. So Eugene and Rosita are in their wagon, and they see this area of the road that is just completely destroyed with feet marks, with footprints. And they're trying to figure out what's going on. Now, think back to the first time that you saw this episode. What did you think that was? Did you think it was a herd? Did you think it was going to be important?
I personally so I knew it was going to be important, but I did not think it was a herd to start with. I thought maybe it was another group that had gone by. I was not thinking what was forthcoming at all, but I figured it had to be important or they wouldn't have shown it.
Right.
But yeah, I was thinking more that it was another group that walked through there, and it was a large group. Maybe they were going to end up at Alexandria and try to take it over.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was way off base with my guess on that initially.
Yeah, and I was kind of the same way. I thought, oh shit, we're going to get another group that's going to just be horrendous. because of how many footprints there were. And I read the comics, so I knew that the Whisperers were coming, but I didn't see it. I didn't make the connection the first time I saw this episode. So it kind of freaked me out. All right. So I keep saying so. Magna is in the infirmary with Yumiko and Sadiq, and Luke is there. Magna looks out the window and she sees Michonne training Judith.
Mm-hmm.
And so she knows that they are, that they're well prepared for just about anything. She kind of gets that idea. And then we go back to Carol and Henry and Jed. And Jed starts taking all their stuff except their horses and their wagon, but he takes Carol's ring. Henry gets pissed off about it and attacks Jed. And that does not end well.
Yep.
And then Carol gives Jed the ring. Here, take it. And now we're finally to one of my favorite scenes of this episode.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The interaction with Negan and Judith.
Mm-hmm.
So pure and honest when she's talking to him and she's like, well, the numbers don't care if you're a good person or a bad person, you know.
I wish I was smart answer. Well, and see how well that worked out for you.
Yeah, we're not ever bringing any dogs back. Yeah. Oh, and Issa said that they went there for Marianne's birthday. It was a really cool place. So
What
that's
place?
cool. I haven't been to that location where Carol and Henry are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now we're getting set up here. And Eugene and Rosita are trying to get these transmitters up to a higher ground. And they see the herd again. Or they yeah. And Eugene makes the comment about they must have changed direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So at this point, I started kind of questioning when I first saw this episode. I'm like, well, what's going on? If they're changing direction, that's not right.
Right.
You know, then I started kind of questioning. And Eugene falls the last few feet, damages his knee.
Right.
There they are. And we still don't know what they are. We still don't know if they're Whisperers or not.
Correct.
But we're kind of getting an idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then Carol finally gets her revenge. She goes back to Jed and just basically sets them on fire. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
So I have a question for you guys on this, on the opinion on this. So when I saw this, and I watched it again, of course, you know, just this week. And after last week's episode, I thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, the reason to me that Carol, because burning people alive is like intense, you know, I mean, that's a huge deal. But I thought back, you know, with the wolves and what happened when Morgan did not take care of the situation out in the woods to start with. And then when he captured the one and didn't take care of it, what happened to Alexandria? So I was thinking when this happened, they hurt Henry, number one. And then was Carol in the back of her head thinking, if I don't get rid of them, are they going to find out where we are? And the same situation is going to happen all over again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
She even had that conversation with Morgan, you know, and she even told Morgan, I should have killed you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So-
she didn't have a choice in the matter.
Yeah. But I think you're right, Tina. I think she had that in her brain that if she didn't take care of it immediately, it was going to come back to bite her. So, and there she is. And this kind of reminded me of also the burning floor that was in the satellite. You know,
yeah.
where they trapped the guys in that room and then set them on fire as well. Carol's got to say, maybe she's a pyro.
Something for her.
Yeah.
And how ironic that she used his match, you know, to light the
Yes.
thing.
Yeah. All right. So then Magna shows up at Michonne's and sees her and RJ in the window. Now, do you guys think that she was going to go in to hurt Michonne, or do you think she changed her mind when she saw RJ?
I think she had it in her head just because of the way she was from the very beginning. That whole little attitude and you know, she had said, well, we should fight in order to stay there. I'm thinking you're 4 people. Fuck. Yumiko doesn't count, actually, she's sick. What is she gonna do? What are you gonna do against this whole town? So I think she played it. And then when she saw RJ, you know, and realized this isn't just another group that, you know, we could take out and stay. These are families. This is a whole thing. We don't want to ruin it. And if we don't, they'll change their mind and let us stay.
Yeah. I think she was going to hold her hostage or something.
Yeah, definitely something.
Yeah.
Okay. So she gives Michonne the knife that Michonne missed. And I think that played a huge part in Michonne's decision later on. And this conversation between Judith also played a part.
Yeah, this is my favorite scene in the whole thing.
Judith coming down the stairs with a big ass gun.
Well, no, it's her saying that she don't remember their voices anymore, and she's
Yeah,
trying
no,
to-
I know. I was just saying how funny that was.
That
Yeah,
was
but
the best. Yeah.
Gun safety.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I love that. All right. So the next morning, after all the fire and the burning and Carol destruction and mayhem, Henry notices that Carol has her ring back. Doesn't say anything to her, but he knows that she.
I think he's scared to ask.
I ain't saying nothing.
Oh, Henry, just look at the flowers. It's okay. I think he was terrified to ask.
I mean, did he not smell anything burning? Did he not see any flames? That was a big fire.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have a campfire, so the smell had to come from somewhere. That's funny. All right. So then Henry asks, where are we going? She says, we're going to make a pit stop. And she's going to go see Daryl, her BFF. I love it. And he smiles. That was I love that interaction. It was a cute interaction between the two of them. And we kind of get a hint of something going a little deeper with Michonne by this scar. We don't know what it is, but there's something going on. So,
well, yeah. But you know what? It's good to see that even during an apocalypse, she's staying moisturized.
It is important. Yes. Yeah. Nobody wants to have dry skin. So everybody is Yumiko has healed. She even tells the group, had I known they were going to kick us out, I would have taken a little longer to heal. Everybody's saying goodbye. I love how Luke and Yumiko and Magna and Connie and Kelly, they all thanked Judith. They recognized this little powerhouse of a girl, and they all thanked her. And I thought that was important. And I love this interaction when Michonne shows up and says, plans have changed. And they find out that she's going to take the group to Hilltop, and Sadiq and Gabriel kind of look at each other.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So plans have changed. So they were kicking them out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out into the street? Really?
Yeah.
They decided on that? I wonder why.
Because Michonne didn't trust Magna.
Yeah. Well, Magna didn't really, the way she acted didn't give them a reason to trust her. I mean, just her whole attitude. Everybody else was fine. But her whole attitude, I mean, if it was up to me and it was just her, I wouldn't keep her either. The rest of them I would have kept. she gave you that attitude of, you know, hey, I can't even describe it, but it was not cool saying, hey, please let me stay here, you know, and rescue me from this horrible world I'm living in.
Right.
It was just, yeah. So
I know. I know what you're saying. I just, as our group, and I'll say our group, I can't picture them doing that.
But yeah, it's a hard one to
Yeah.
follow for sure.
Yeah, but see, we didn't know everything that happened beforehand with the ex and everything, and that's why she was so protective.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you were wondering why Michonne was so adamant about not
Mhm.
letting any strangers in because they'd never been like that before. That's what they
Yeah.
did.
And
So,
also why
yeah.
Michonne isolated Alexandria from everybody else too, because it was all because of Jocelyn. But we didn't know that during
Right.
this episode.
Right.
And she didn't want him around the kids. Yeah.
Right. So then the group finds out that they're being taken to the hilltop and they thank Judith again. Connie gets down and tries to teach her sign language, and Judith fails miserably, which was super cute. And there's Rick again.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to this. We get to the ending of the episode, and Eugene and Rosita are being chased by this horde. And they find an embankment and they cover themselves in mud. And they hear the walkers whispering.
Yes, and they whisper,
Oh,
"Where are they?" And then they whisper.
Woo.
Then they whisper. They whisper, "They must be close. Don't let them get away."
Exactly.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
I saw that, I was like, what the hell?
I know.
I never read the comics.
I didn't either, so I didn't know
I
either.
was just like, what the fuck is going on?
Now they're talking.
Yeah.
And you know what? I give kudos to people who did not read the comics and got that experience.
Yeah.
Unlike
Oh,
the people who read the comics. But even reading the comics, it took me still for a little loop. I was like, oh, here they are. You know, now when they started,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't expect that at that moment.
So you knew from reading the comics that it was another group. I didn't read the comics. I was like, what the fuck? How are whispers? How are these walkers talking?
Mhm.
How is this happening? So I was, you know, full into it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Shocked. Like,
But I'm
there's no
telling
way.
you, the show will do that to you. Even though you read the comics, you forget everything you read.
Yes.
Mm.
I forgot about the Pike scene,
Oh,
you know, until it happened. It was like, oh, that's right.
yeah, no,
So-
that was intense. And the look on the one eye of Eugene,
Mm-hmm.
that eye said like 1,000 words. Just the
Yeah.
way
Yes.
that eye in that scene with the mud. It was crazy.
Yeah, because he was like, what?
Yeah.
What? No, I thought it was great. And I read the comics. And so even like I said, with this episode, when the first time I watched it, I wasn't even thinking about the Whisperers until Eugene said that they're coming back around. And then I thought, is that the Whisperers? No, it couldn't be. And so, you know, it was in my brain and then it was right out of my brain until they started covering themselves in mud. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And when they started talking, holy shit. It didn't matter if you read the comics. As soon as you heard them talking, you're like, oh my God. You know?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The show made you forget that you
Yeah.
read the comics.
Yeah, that was crazy. And I get goosebumps now every time. I got goosebumps just talking about it the slide there a second ago.
Mhm.
So yeah.
I was like
Definitely-
Tina. I didn't read the comics either, so I was totally surprised.
Definitely a jam-packed episode.
Mhm.
It was really, really good. So, and that's it. That was the last scene. This one right here where they see the walkers walking by and Rosita and Eugene are covered in mud and you hear them say, don't let them get away.
Mhm.
So that was exciting. That was quite a ride.
Yeah, it was. It was intense.
Wow. All right. So in a nutshell, what was your favorite part about this episode, Tina? What was it that made you choose this episode?
So I think it's so aside from the whole Whisperer thing, I mean that last minute and a half of the episode was just phenomenal. I think because Rick is gone, and it kind of showed you where the show was going to go now. Like, I think everybody wondered once Rick died on the bridge, what's going to happen? How can we have a show without Rick? And I think this episode showed us that we can still carry on without Rick. There's still a lot more that the show has to offer. Stop it, Dawn. A good example, my sister stopped watching it after Rick died. That was it. She was done. But I continued on, and I think this episode showed us that there's still a lot more to come. And it was just the introduction of the new characters, which we really hadn't seen new characters that were going to stay in the group since, like Jesus, Ezekiel. This was the first new group to come along. The whole Rick Michonne thing was over. Thank you.
Best relationship ever.
I just couldn't find into it. Everybody else I'm good with. That one just...
Well, talking about the comics, he ends up with Andrea, right? That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
And that would have been the best one.
I could have seen that,
Yep.
But it is what it is. It was just, like I said, it was just a lot of stuff going on, a lot of different ways that the storyline could go. So I guess it was like part 2 of the next, the rest of their lives. That's why I liked it so much. And it was just intense. Like I said, that last scene with Rosie and Eugene was probably one of the most intense scenes of the show.
It's funny you say your sister stopped watching. My brother stopped watching after Rick left, and I continued. And he's like, he's never watched any of the episodes after.
Yeah.
So, what was your all's opinion? I know, Carol. He's the one that got me watching the show. But
I know.
what was your all's opinion when you first seen that new group? Like, I'll tell you mine. I'll be honest. Like, I was mad. Like, I was like, why are they shoving these new characters down my throat and I don't care about them? I want to know about my people. That was my first reaction.
Yeah.
What was your all's reaction?
For me, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tina. You're the guest. Go ahead.
So for me, I think because we lost one of the main characters, I think they needed to bring some new characters to bring some new life, because everybody was going to be so upset about Rick leaving. And what are they going to be doing? Just living in Alexandria, having a happy life? They needed to bring some new blood into it, I think. So
I think it was shocking that it was a 6-year jump. I think that's what everybody was like. What? Yeah.
Yeah, that was surprising. But yeah, I think they needed it. Your Maggie left, Rick left. So I think they wanted to bring some new characters. I mean, I'm not thrilled with all of the characters that came. But, I think that's why they brought them, to kind of bring some new life, since they got rid of 2 main characters.
Gotcha.
Carol, Laura.
What about the people in the comments? What do they think? I'd be interested to hear their opinions. Me personally, I got anxious every time a new group was introduced, because I was fearful that we were going to lose somebody from our core group, from the main group. And I mean, and that was apparent. Like, they gave us Jesus and then they took Jesus away, So, and Deanna and all these people, they gave them to us and we fell in love with them, and then they took them away. But that was obvious from the beginning, Walking Dead is like that. They give you somebody and then they take that somebody away from you. And so after just losing Rick,
I wanted like a closure. I wanted like the funeral. I wanted everybody to cry. I wanted everybody to be upset.
Yeah, I mean, man didn't get nothing.
No,
He got nothing.
Every time jump.
Yeah. Fucking pisses me off.
Did me too. I was like, what the heck? He was on the show for 9 years, people.
Nothing.
He's
got a funeral. Beth's got a funeral.
Yes.
Hell, even Bob.
Even
Even
Bob.
Ed got taken out and got respected enough to have a hatchet put through his head.
Yes.
And Rick didn't get nothing. I guess that should have indicated that he wasn't dead.
There you go.
We don't see it. It didn't happen. That's just what I'm saying. Wow.
Barb.
My answer to that is I don't remember. Because I've seen it so much. But thinking about it while you guys were talking about it, I think I'm on with Carol where I was anxious and I was trusting of them. I remember that, but I was more focused on a lot of other stuff. So I don't remember if there was an initial, who the fuck are these people? You know?
Yeah.
I just got used to always getting new people in. Okay, we got new people again, you know, and where is it going to go? But I don't remember my initial, I don't, because it wasn't so impactful for me other than other things that were going on in the show at the time.
So I just had a thought. So Rick just left the show, and Judith is the one who brings in the group. So do you think maybe that was kind of an homage to Rick? Because that's what Rick would do.
Yes.
Bring new people in. Just,
Yeah.
You know, like he kept the governor's people.
Yep.
Always bring new people in. So maybe that's why they did it too, because that's what Rick would do. And here's Rick's, well, not necessarily his child, but you know,
Right.
here's Judith doing it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And Nissa said they were in denial that he was dead. I agree. Pamela said that you know, in the comic books, Magna is a badass, and we don't really see that yet with her. I think that Magna was kind of underused as far as a badass because she had a lot of potential in the comics, and they didn't use her the way that they should have in the show. So yeah, and Anissa said Yumiko is the one who ended up getting us into the Commonwealth, and I love the fact that Anissa said getting us into the Commonwealth.
Wait, what?
Anissa said that Yumiko is the one who ended up getting us into the Commonwealth. It was because of her role that
Brother.
that they, you know, because she was with Princess and Ezekiel and Eugene, and it was because of Yumiko being a lawyer and all of that I think that the Commonwealth had confidence.
And her brother being there because they almost left.
Being there. Yes,
Yep.
Right. So, but I like the fact that Anissa said getting us into the Commonwealth because it was us. Hi, Diane. Diane Gaddy's now in the chat too. Okay, so moving forward, we know that we get to see what happens to Michonne's scar, and we learn that Daryl has a similar scar, right?
I just watched that episode last night.
Yeah, every time somebody comes on that's a Patreon and says, "Oh, I want to watch this episode," then I go down a fucking rabbit hole and I end up watching like 5 episodes afterwards.
I do have one more question for Tina.
Yeah.
Did you watch it as it aired, or did you watch it later on and was able to binge watch it?
So the first 2 seasons, I did not watch. So long story short, I am not a horror fan. Never have been. I'm not. Some friends of mine watch The Walking Dead, and they're like, "Oh, you should watch the show. It's really good." I'm like, "No, there's zombies in it. I don't want to watch it. I don't like that stuff." So I started watching the first episode, and I'm not gonna lie, it freaked me out. I was like, "Ooh, I don't know if I can watch this." And they're like, "No, just watch it. Keep in your head that it's not real. Watch it for the storyline and the characters." So I forced myself to watch it. I got through the first couple episodes, and then the storyline is so good. And then I started looking at the walkers not for, you know, their flesh-eating dead things. I appreciated them for the makeup and everything that they did with them.
Right.
So I was able to concentrate on the characters and the storyline. So after that, I started watching it. You know, I was every Sunday, I was right there to watch it. And then I'd watch it again, you know, later on in the week. And then I started binging it, you know, like it's always on. in the background.
It's our
on my
comfort show.
Yeah.
it's in the living room right now. It's on.
Mhm.
Background for me. If I'm doing something, I always put it on. But again, I'm not a horror fan. I don't watch horror movies. I was shocked that I watched From. It is really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. No.
So by the third season, you were watching it weekly, and you had those nail biting endings, and you had to wait.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
my friends and I would get together every Sunday night at somebody's house. That was our thing. We'd always watch together.
Should have did those
yeah.
fan reactions like on YouTube.
I know we should have because some of them were crazy. But yeah, so now it's a thing. I think Dawn and Carol saw like the room that I'm in right now is just filled
Mhm.
with Walking Dead stuff because I got sucked into that rabbit hole big time.
Love it.
So the friends that made you watch it, did they watch it? Did they finish it or no?
They did, but yes, they watched it. And the funny part is I became the huge fan of it. They didn't go down the rabbit hole like I did. I don't even know if they watched the spinoffs, to be honest with you.
Same thing
But
with my
yeah.
friend Kim, who made me watch this show. She
Yeah.
stopped and she forgot where she left off, like season 9 or 10 or something. She's like, "No, I never went back." I'm like, "You
Like my
bitch.
brother. Like my brother. He don't watch the spinoffs or nothing.
Yeah,
Like, you got me into this. You better finish it."
That's right.
it's funny how some of us are just, like we're just right into it.
Yeah.
And then there's others where it's just
Speak
like,
of the devil.
I'm talking about you, Adam.
Adam, you troublemaker.
That's funny that he showed up right then and there.
I know. He knew his ears were burning.
Yeah. That's hysterical.
I'm going to
Sorry,
ask
Adam.
Tina the questions.
He heard. Yes, we are going to ask Tina the questions.
Yeah.
So, Tina, you're a Patreon. That's why you're here tonight. You are well aware of the questions that we ask. We ask the Lipton questions of all of our guests. You've seen it before. You know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Your first question is, what's your favorite curse word?
so not a word, but a phrase.
Oh, I
Son
love
of a
it.
bitch.
Son of a
Yeah,
bitch.
son of- That's my favorite. It can be good, it can be bad, it can be exciting.
Yep.
It covers the full gamut.
I love that. It's a multi-purpose phrase.
Yes.
Yes, and you can get away with saying it just leaving out the last, word and just say "son of a," and it still has the same effect.
You've thought about this, haven't you?
I do it at work, so that's where it pays off.
Right. All right. Well, other than your favorite curse word, what is your favorite word?
So this one's a little bit hard, but I think probably my favorite word is positivity.
Okay.
Just because it can change, in an instant. As soon as you can make something positive, and if you're positive about life and everything in general, it's just so much better.
I agree. 100%. I try to put positive spins on everything. So,
Yeah, you really can, especially nowadays with everything that's going on in the world itself. You gotta look for the positive in everything. So
I agree.
life support,
What's your least favorite word?
literally.
Literally.
Because people use it wrong all the time. It drives me nuts.
When I see Tina at camp, I'm just literally excited to see you.
Literally.
Literally. Yes.
Literally hate that word.
We're making her shirts.
Literally. With 3 exclamation points behind it. That's funny. Okay, next.
All right. What turns you on?
The biggest thing for me is good humor.
Mhm.
What
Yeah.
turns you off?
Stupidity.
Good answer.
Yeah, I mean, to me, yeah, I cannot, like, I can deal with children, no problem. But stupid adults, no,
Okay.
I just can't do it.
All right. You're going to invite, outside of The Walking Dead, 3 actors or actresses into your Walking Dead room. Who are they going to be?
Whoa.
Well, I didn't know we were putting that stipulation on there.
Well, I want to hear her 3 Walking Dead people.
No.
No.
No, I'm gonna say, let's see, Charlize Theron, who I just adore. Julia Roberts, because I think she would be a fun time, and to go with her, because I'm inviting them to just have a blast. I think Emily Blunt.
Oh,
Like I've seen her in a lot of interviews and stuff, and she just strikes me as you could have a really good time hanging out with her.
yeah.
Okay.
So those are the 3 I would invite.
Dawn?
What's your favorite sound?
So I have a new godchild, and hearing her laugh is probably my favorite sound right now.
Okay. Least favorite sound.
All right, I'm not gonna. Hopefully, don't gross anybody out. But when people are hacking up a loogie, I cannot stand that sound. Yes, Dawn, you feel me, don't you? I hate that. You know, guys in the street, it's like they do that. And I'm like, seriously? It's so disgusting.
Same thing with like that chewing tobacco. Ugh.
Yeah. But that whole hack thing when they're never mind. All right, next, move on.
How can I change the spin on mine? Trying to think so I could change. Okay, if you could have 3 Walking Dead actors or Fear the Walking Dead actors to play one of your Walking Dead guitars, who would it be? Or who would they be?
You did put a spin on that.
We're last minute thinkers.
Yeah. I would take Lenny James for sure.
Lenny fucking James, you.
Yeah.
That's right. Lenny fucking James is playing my guitar for me. I think I would definitely. I'm gonna have to take Melissa McBride because she's my favorite character. And then, I don't know. I might take. I'm trying to think who else would be musically inclined.
Glenn played the guitar.
Oh, that's right. He did on the porch, didn't he? No. You know what? I'm gonna take Eugene just because I really like him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that was my 3.
All right.
Who's getting Elise's?
Forget what hers are.
Oh, Pearly Gate.
Well, if there's a possession or a profession that you would like to do other than your own, what would it be?
I always wanted to be a criminal prosecutor.
Me too.
Wow.
Yes.
That would be it. Yeah.
Yes.
Dawn, for sure.
Yeah. Love it. What is a profession you would not like to try?
That one's easy, mortician. I couldn't do the dead people thing.
My dad always told me, because I like prosecuting and all those serial killer, he would say, you need to be a mortician because you never go out of business. I'm like,
I would
Oh,
love
no.
to do that.
I'm like, thanks, Dad. Oh.
No.
That's funny.
Barb, Carol, you would ask the last one?
If heaven exists and you arrive at the pearly gates, what would you want God to say to you?
So the problem is I don't think anybody can ever outdo Kiki's answer last week. So I mean they can't. You can't tell.
Look at Cheryl.
I would say he might say something like, "What the hell?" Probably what he'd say if I showed up.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I don't think he would.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't know.
Is there some things you're not telling us, Tina?
Everybody has those little deep dark secrets, right?
We're gonna learn what those secrets are in May.
We'll give her a relishing the dead drink.
Right.
I was going to say that depends on how many of those drinks I inhale. So
She's gonna wear her literally just hocked a loogie t-shirt.
Yes.
yeah, maybe I should. I literally just hacked one up.
Literally just hacked one up. Oh, it's fantastic.
Hi, Casey.
All right. Well, Tina, thank you so much for being on with us. We really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
No,
thank you for all your support.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
it
you for being a Patreon.
You guys are worth it. You do a great job with this podcast. I was very impressed when I first joined it. It's really good. It's fun. That's the whole thing. It's 60 minutes of just a fun time.
Yeah.
Whether you have guests on or you're just talking about the show, it's always fun. Always makes me laugh. So I appreciate it.
Aw.
Good.
We just wanted to give back to all of you all that's brought us a whole new family, and you all give us so much joy. We just wanted to give something back to you all.
Well, we don't have a lot of opportunity to talk about the show.
Mhm.
The people that started us watching it fall off the wayside. So we can't necessarily discuss stuff with them anymore because they're not interested.
Right.
So having this outlet to talk about these episodes and the characters and the actors and stuff like that, it's kind of cathartic. We don't have the Talking Dead anymore, so somebody had to become therapists, So I just love that we have this outlet and we have Patreons.
Yeah.
Well, happy to be one.
Well, we love you guys.
Oh, yes.
All right. Well, stick around for this.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for being Patreons and financial supporters of our show. Destiny Larimore. And where's Destiny at tonight?
Uh-huh.
Terry and Kay Collier, Sandy Morrison, Tracy Killen Stokes, Ben and Melissa Gilbert, Pamela Blythe. Pamela was in the comments tonight. Mary Ann Craig, Brandon Cade, Jason Cone, Wesley and Sarah Hale, Randy Nickel, Jasmine Mullins, Edward and Diana Ponce Krupa, Casey and Katrina Florig, Jason Hill, Jonathan and Michelle Cooley, Tina Stromberg, and she's right here.
Yay.
Lee Juno Jerome, Fawn Montalago, Casey Collins. Casey was in the comments tonight. And Nissa was in the comments tonight. Elizabeth Hanson Green. Elizabeth was also in the comments tonight. Jonathan Witten, David Tuckerman, Crystal Fink. Crystal was in there earlier, I think. Kiki Sophia, and our very own Dustin Baker. And a very special thank you to Oscar and Casey. You can check us out on our Facebook group page where we play all our games and give away monthly prizes. Yes, we had a blast, Anissa. If you didn't know, Garrett just told me he loved me. I'm teasing.
He's got proof. He wrote it.
Yeah, I got proof. We have our Facebook page, which is the podcast page. I'll get so confused. Group page, podcast page. We have our Instagram that Aliza keeps hopping. YouTube, and if you haven't subscribed to YouTube, please do. Spotify, Twitter, IMDb, which Carol keeps that going. We have our very own merchandise, which if you do, I think we're on a pause on that, right?
Yeah, we're going to figure that out because we're having.
Yeah, we have to find another company for merchandising. And then you can become a Patreon. That is $10 or $20 a month.
And why do people want to be Patreons, Tina?
It's the Walking Dead family.
Yes.
Stop throwing the curveballs.
Right.
Carol likes doing that to people on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
What was her response?
What'd you say, Tina? Why?
I said because we give back to the Walking Dead.
There you
community.
go.
Very good. That's right.
I watch it all the time. Come on.
So we have so Dawn and Barb went to Lexington Con Toy something or what was it?
Toy and Comic Con.
Toy and Comic Con. And Dawn got to meet Garrett Dillahunt, and he fell instantly in love with her and has just proclaimed his love for her in public, in writing. Yeah.
I find that very interesting, Dawn, because some of the pictures, people are pretty much feeling up everybody there.
What are you talking about?
Hey, Barb's one.
Yeah, Barb's smacking that ass.
Destiny's got video on that one. He's spanking his butt.
Love it. Yeah, there was fun to be had this weekend in Lexington for sure.
Like I told Dawn, I says, I've seen that show a million times, but I never expected that kind of interaction with them. That
Oh
was
my God,
fantastic.
they were hilarious.
With the Reno 911 guys.
Yes, they were awesome. They were in total character. If you see them at a con, please go see them. They are great.
And you guys
I wish I would have gotten a picture of him wearing those shorts, like the front view.
Yeah. And you guys got to ride Falcor,
Yes.
the Luck Dragon, and you didn't save Artax.
What?
He was right there, the horse, and you guys didn't save him.
I'm sorry.
Fair. I'm so disappointed in you.
I'm sorry.
You know who was doing the video? The guy who made the whole never ending story thing, but he was
Johnny?
dressed up as Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
Was he really? That's funny.
Yeah, I meant to take a picture and I forgot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they had fun. I was
That
a
thing
little
was hard
jealous.
to come up on.
I was a little jealous of you guys, so I had to go meet Santi in Brownsville, Tennessee, wherever the hell that is. So, but it was fun. But I'm glad you guys had a good time, and I love the pictures, everything, especially the 911 guys. Those were so great. So,
Yeah.
and William Shatner, holy shit! Dawn got to meet William Shatner.
I know. I was like, oh. I was like, oh, he's 93 years old.
What?
He came zooming in on a scooter.
Wish I would have had that. He was like, "Real, there he is."
He brought his own captain's chair.
Yes.
That's funny.
He
I
had
love it.
security and everything, the ones with the little earpieces. And
Oh,
his name was Clay. And he took your pictures. They're like, this is security guard here. He's going to take your picture. And he goes, my name's Clay. And I'm like, hi, Clay. And he takes the picture.
Yeah, and Pam was there, and who else? Destiny was there, and who did you guys meet up with?
Leslie Todd and Marsha Cord and Brian Smith.
Gotcha.
A little family reunion.
Nice. I love that. All right. Well, until next week, guys. We don't know what we're going to do next week, but we'll figure it out. Tina, thank you so much for joining us. We adore
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Guys, I had a great time.
Yay.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.